Hey guys, and welcome to Hooked for Life with Mary Beth Temple. We're going to take a look at the Vie Boheme pillow made in Bernat Swedish with a size J crochet hook, and the full pattern is on the blog. I try and put things here on the YouTube channel that you could do without reading the pattern, but there's a lot going on here. We're going to talk about magic ring, we're going to talk about doubles and trebles, we're going to talk about surface crochet, we're going to talk about puff stitches. So let's jump right in and see what's going on with this fabulous pillow. Alright, using our A color, the first thing we're going to do is start with a magic ring, and if you have never done that, here's the easiest way that I know how to do it. So my tail's down here, and it's over my four fingers, and I'm going to spread apart my index finger and my middle finger. So I'm taking the yarn over my index finger, under my middle finger, over my index finger again, and I'm making an X. You see the X? I'm going to take my hook, put it under this side, grab this guy and pull it through, and now I'm all set to crochet. So the first thing I'm going to do is chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and a chain 3 at the beginning of the round, which it tells you in the notes, counts as a double crochet. So I'm going to put 11 more double crochets in the ring. So that's 1, 2, 10, 11. So I have my turning chain and then 11 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Stick my hook back in here. Now I want to make this into a ring, so all I have to do is take my tail. I like to untwist it. Sometimes it gets a little twisted, and pull. You can make that little center as tight or as loose as you want. I want it to be fairly tight for this piece. Now, I'm not really worried about that pulling out because it doesn't usually, but if I was worried, when I weave that tail in, I can tighten that up and make sure it doesn't go anywhere. So that is going to be the end of round 1. I'm going to join in the top of the beginning chain 3, so that is round 1. Moving on to round 2, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to put another double crochet, because remember it says in the notes that chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So we're going to put a double crochet in that very same space as the round join, and now I'm going to put 2 double crochets in each double crochet around. At the end of the round, that'll give me 24 double crochets. So just 2 in each space. Pretty easy to see. And that's going to keep my circle nice and flat. One, and let's put one more in there, and I will meet you at the end of the round. So here I am making my last double crochet in round 2, and it says join round with slip stitch in the top of the round join, and then it says change to B, end off A. So to end off A at this point, I'm just going to cut my yarn, leaving a long tail that I can weave in later, because we're not going to use that color for a little bit, and then I'm going to take my B color and just pull it through. You can switch at the slip stitch, but to me that means the hat doesn't match the shoes. You get a little blob at the top that doesn't quite match the bottom, which I don't care for. So I bring the new color in and I pull that old color super tight so that you can't even really see it, and then I'm ready to move on with my B color. All right, we're on round 3, and it says with B, chain 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. Then it says, let's see, what does it say? Double crochet in same stitches, round join. So that's what we were doing earlier. So that's right in the top of that beginning chain 3. And then it says double crochet in next double crochet. So there's my next double crochet, and I'm going to put one in there. Now we have a little asterisk and it says 2 double crochet in next double crochet in next double crochet, repeat from asterisk around. So I'm going to put 2 here, 1 there, 2 here, 1 there, 2 here, 1 there. I'm going to do that all the way around and I'll meet you back at the end of this round. So 2 in the next one, and then 1 in the next one, etc. So here we are at the end of round 3. It says join round with slip stitch at the top of the beginning chain 3, which we've been doing a fair amount of, and it's also letting you know that if you count, you will have 36 double crochets in this round. Now for round 4, we're going to just jump right in. It's going to be chain 2, 1, 2. Now it says puff stitch in next double crochet, and here's how we're going to make our puff stitch. If you have done puff stitches before, this is a 3 draw puff stitch. So it's yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over and draw up a loop 3 times. So that was 1, 2, 3. And we should have 7 loops on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to yarn over and draw through all the loops on the hook. And you're noticing, I do this by habit because I've been crocheting a long time, I'm angling my hook down a little bit. And that's because if I try and do this, I'm going to get stuck. So I'm just angling my hook down the least little bit to make sure that my hook slides through all those loops neatly. Then it says chain 2, 1, 2, slip stitch in next double crochet. So here's my little point. So we're going to do this all the way around because now we have an asterisk and it's telling us what the repeat is. So we're going to slip stitch in the next double crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, puff stitch in the next double, yarn over, insert your hook, draw up a loop 3 times. And you notice I'm not working super close to the work. I'm giving that puff stitch a little room to breathe. I want to see the puff. And if you go too tightly and too close to the work, you don't get a whole lot of texture. There's my 3. Yarn over and draw through all 7 loops on hook, angling my hook down just the least little bit to make sure I don't get caught. Chain 2, slip stitch in the next one. Slip stitch in the next one. I'm just going to do one more repeat. You can go fast through this part if you get the gist. 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and slip stitch. So here's my little puff stitch points happening. I'm going to do this all the way around. Then we're going to finish off this round and change to the next color. Here we are at the end of round 4 and it says join round with the slip stitch in the first slip stitch and fasten off. So I'm just going to once again cut some yarn, pull it through. I'll weave that in later and you will not see where the join is. Now, we're going to move the beginning of the round, and here is why. I don't like round pieces where the round join sort of is in the same place for every round. I think it's then really obvious to see where the round join is and how it might be a little different than other stitches in the round. So I'm going to bop around and move my round join somewhere else. And again, it's just to keep the work looking neat overall. For the record, you will at this point have 12 puff stitches and 24 chain 2s. So for round 5, it says join C with a single crochet in any puff stitch. So I'm going to put a slip knot on my hook. I'm going to find any random puff stitch. Here it is. And there's the top of it. So I'm going to just chunk a single crochet right in there. I'm not going to slip stitch and chain one and what have you. It's no big deal to just start a single crochet in the air. It doesn't really need anything more than that. Now it says single crochet in same puff stitch. So I've got 2 in there. And now it says, let's see, what does it say? Can you tell I'm trying to read and crochet at the same time? 3 treble in next double crochet of round 3. So the next double crochet of round 3 is down here. So I'm sort of enclosing that slip stitch, and I don't care. It's going to be fine. And remember, for a treble, this yarn is a little thick and sometimes it's hard to pull through, but I like it. It's supposed to look like suede, and it kind of does. For the treble, we're going to yarn over 2 times, insert our hook in the stitch, and in this case we're putting 3 trebles in the same stitch. Yarn over and draw up a loop, yarn over and draw through 2 3 times. That's what makes it a treble. Or you might have learned this as a triple crochet, same deal. So once I've done that, it says put 2 single crochets in the next puff stitch. So I'm jumping over to here. Single, single. And now 3 trebles in the next double crochet of round 3, because this is round 1, 2, 3, and there's that double. So I feel like I said that wrong. You're putting 3 trebles in the next double crochet of round 3. In case I said that wrong. And we're going to do this all the way around. And I will meet you back at the end. So it's 3 trebles between the puff stitches and 2 singles in top of the puff stitches. And we're going to do that all the way around. All right, here we are at the end of round 5. And this is what it looks like, and it says join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet, and once again we're going to fasten off because we're going to start our new color someplace else just for giggles. So here we are. So we have 36 trebles. That's 12 groups of 3, and we have 24 singles, that's 12 groups of 2. So now we're going to go back to our A color, and it says join A with single crochet in the first of any 3 trebles. Alright, so again, I'm going to move my round join just to keep my piece even and happy. So I'm going to look for 3 trebles in a row. Here they are, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to join A with a single crochet in the first of one of those trebles. Now it says single crochet in each of the next 2 trebles. 1, 2. And we have half double crochet in each of next 2 single crochets. So there's my 2 single crochets. Remember, for the half double we're going to yarn over, insert our hook in the stitch, yarn over and draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through all 3. So that's my half double. So 1 half double in each of those 2 singles. Let's see. Then it says, my gosh, I can't figure out where I am. Double crochet in each of next 3 trebles. So there's 3 trebles in a row. We're going to put doubles there. So that's 1, 2, 3. And for those of you who say, well, you wrote the pattern, don't you know it? No, I'm coming up on my 500th design, and that's just the ones that made it to Ravelry, and I'm old. I was designing long before Ravelry was around. So once it's on the paper, it's out of my brain, and that's the only way I can keep doing more. Now it says treble in next single crochet. So treble is our 2 yarn overs. We have these 2 single crochets in a row. So we're going to treble, and then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So now this is going to be a corner, and this chain 3 is our corner chain 3. It does not count as a double crochet. So you can see what we're starting to do is turn this circle into a square. It's going to start happening on this round, and it is going to continue evening out on the next round. But the reason we have different height stitches is we're trying to force our circle into a square. So now we have a repeat, which is, I'm sorry, I really can't read and crochet at the same time. It's terrifying. Treble and next double crochet, treble and next single crochet. And for the record, there's one of our 4 corners. Now, double in each of next 3 trebles. That's 1 double, 2 doubles, 3 doubles. Half double crochet in each of next 2 single crochets. Here's a half and a half. Single in each of the next 3 trebles. 1, 2, 3. And if this is starting to look familiar, this is essentially where we started on this side. But we're going to keep going till the next corner. Half double in each of the next 2 singles, so that's half, half. Double in each of the next 3 trebles. That's double, 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 treble in the next single, so 2 yarn overs, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's our repeat, and we're going to do that 1, 2 more times, and then we'll finish off this last corner. So let me catch up with you, and then we'll look at that the second half of that repeat. Here we are almost to the end of round 6. I finished my 3rd repeat of the instructions that are in the parentheses, and now it says treble in next single crochet, and that finishes off our 4th corner. Double crochet in each of next 3 trebles. That's 1, 2, 3. Half double crochet in each of next 2 singles. 1, 2. Join the round with a slip stitch in the first single. And we're not fastening off here. We're going to do another round in this same color. So here again, this is not a perfect square, but we're getting there. So we've just started to square off the piece. So now round 7 is really easy. We're going to chain 4, which counts as a treble crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Treble in each stitch to corner. So no matter what it is, if it's a single, a half double, whatever it is, you're going to put a treble in it. Not in that first one, because that chain 4 counts. So we're going to treble to the corner. Might take me a minute to get there. Hey, while we're here, why don't you like this video and please subscribe to the channel, because we have some crochet stuff and some knitting stuff and some sewing stuff, some general craft stuff, all kinds of goodies coming up, and I would love to share them with you. And also, once again, if you need this pattern written out, and I think you might, I try to make patterns on YouTube that you don't have to go to the blog for, but this one's a little fiddly, so if you want to zip over to the blog, you can read the pattern on the blog for free, and there will be a little download button if you want to purchase an ad-free PDF on Ravelry, or pretty soon also on my website, but I'm working on that. You can do that. Okay, so we have trebled in every stitch to the corner. And what are we doing in the corner? Who knows? 3 trebles, chain 2, 3 trebles. So 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 trebles, chain 2, 1, 2, and then 3 more trebles in the same spot. This is all we're going to do. We're going to treble in every stitch. We're going to put this 3 trebles, chain 2, 3 trebles in each corner, and you'll know when you hit the corner because that's where that big chain 3 hole is. And the only tiny little thing I want to show you here, this is just a trick because a lot of people miss this, especially if they're beginning crocheters. Sometimes you have to kind of squish these guys over to find the top of that first stitch. You want to make sure that they're not so far over here that you forget to stitch in that one. That was my only little trick for this round. So we're going to go ahead and finish this round, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, here we are at the end of round 7, and you can see that we more or less have a square. For rounds 8, 9, and 10, I'm not going to show them on camera because they're pretty easy. You're going to follow along with the pattern, and essentially what's going to happen is you're going to double crochet in each stitch around, and then you're going to put 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in each corner. You're going to do 1 round of the B color and 2 rounds of the C color. And then here, let's go to the other side. This is the other piece that's already finished. So you're going to do this round, and this round. And then the next thing that we're going to do on camera is we're going to talk about the surface crochet embellishments. Okay, here we are, and all 10 rounds are completed. So I want to talk just a little bit about the surface crochet. So I am going to use this extra color, this D color. I will say this, I don't use a ton of this yarn. If you don't want to buy a 4th skein, you could use some other yarn that you have laying around just for contrast. Or my alternative plan was to use one color here and a different color here, maybe the blue here and the garnet here. But I want to talk a little bit about the surface crochet. So I'm going to give myself a nice long tail. I want to be able to weave that in later. And I'm going to hold that yarn in the back of the work. So I'm going to go in the top of the stitches of round 2, and I'm going to pull up a loop. And for a yarn this thick, it's actually not so hard to find. It's it can be a little fiddly with finer yarn. So let me see if I can squish this way. I will also admit that when I did this, when I made the other side, I did the surface crochet before I finished all the other crochet, which is why I'm sort of fighting with it now. But all I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the top of the next DC. I'm going to pull up a loop and pull it through the loop that was on my hook. And that first one's going to be loose because I haven't woven that tail in yet. You want to make sure that you don't do this super tight. You don't want it to draw in and pucker. But you're just going to go into each section, the top of each stitch, and draw that loop through. And you don't have to turn over and look at it like I'm doing here. I'm doing that so you can see on camera what's happening. But honestly, when I do it, you can pretty much feel it because you've got your other hand under there. So I'm going to go all the way around, and I'll meet you when I get to the very end because I want to show you how to finish it off so that you don't see the join. So here we are back at the beginning. I have pulled up a loop in the stitch before the first one I worked in. So all I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut the yarn, leaving again a nice long tail. I need something to weave in. And I'm going to pull this up straight through the work. Now I'm going to thread it onto my tapestry needle. One of the things I like about this yarn, it threads really easily because it's a flat piece of fabric. So I'm going to go under both legs of that first stitch that I made. And again, it's a little bit loose, and it's okay that it's a little bit loose. It's just because I haven't woven that end in yet. And then I'm going to bring the needle back through the center of the last complete stitch that I made. Pull that through to the back. And so what happens is that joins the beginning to the end in an unbroken circle. So that's all I have to do now is weave in those tails. And then I'm going to put one more round of surface crochet up here, which is the end of round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, end of round 5. And it's going to have just a little bit of wiggle in it. Here's the other one. Well, that's the wrong side. Here's the right side, and that's okay. It looks fine. It'll do its own thing. So I'm going to put that second round of surface in. I'm going to weave in all my ends, and then the last thing I have to do is insert my pillow form and crochet the two sides together, which I'll show you in just 1 minute. So here is the front, and I made another one exactly the same for the back. And here's what it looks like on the wrong side, just in case you were curious. And so the next thing I'm going to do, when I finished my second piece, I did not end off my last color. And so one of the other things that I did is I counted how many, oh, you can't even see me up there, can you? Hold on. I counted how many stitches in from the end I had begun, and I put a marker on the other side. So I have my wrong sides facing each other, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to crochet, let's start with a chain 1 just to make things easy. I'm going to single crochet my two sides together. Let me get that stitch marker out of the way. Okay, so all I'm going to do using my C color is single crochet these two pieces together all the way around. And since they're identical, I'll have the same number of stitches all the way around, so I'm not going to have to worry about what goes where. So here's my little edging. Super briefly, I did not love how the white fabric looked coming through the open corners of the piece, so I just covered my pillow form with some like a linen blend that I had laying around. I have a lot of fabric laying around, and all I did, I'll be honest, I barely even measured. I just made an envelope style closure. So I had one big piece of fabric, I put a hem on each short side, I folded one onto the other till it looked like it fit. Sewed each other side with a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and we're going to call that done. So I'm going to single crochet around my two pillow pieces, and before I get it too small, I'm going to take this pillow form and I'm going to stuff it in there and then finish my single crochet. So I'll be back in 2 seconds to show you the whole thing all assembled. Well, here we are with our fabulous pillow. And so we're all done. We have inserted our covered pillow form. We have done a single crochet round all the way around the outside, and here it all goes. So thanks so much for joining me. I'd appreciate it if you'd like this video, leave a comment or subscribe to the channel or any one of those good things. Remember, you can always go over to the blog to get a copy of the pattern for free, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.